What's good? Good morning. The sun finally showed itself here in Seattle. We had a really gray and wet March. It was not cool. You know what else is not cool? Gas prices. Holy cow. Washington State, I think we have like the second highest gas prices in the country, maybe. It's insane, especially in Seattle. And while that's not the subject of this video, it's connected because it makes me angry enough to want to be violent. Uh, Not a threat towards anyone, just a comment. At no point in this video will I be suggesting any particular person be on the receiving end of violence. I don't think anyone should go commit violence. However, I want to put on the table this idea that violence can be justified in certain scenarios. And there's one in particular that I really want to discuss, but I really want to emphasize first that the reason the ruling classes divide us in the working class is because it prevents us from uniting in uh, the use of violence. It prevents us from being so united where a majority of us are on the same page about who violence should be doled out to. That's why they keep us divided. Because if we had any sort of solidarity, guillotines would be very common. And I say that as someone who doesn't particularly like violence. I don't do the MMA thing. I've never successfully hunted and killed anything. Although I want to, it actually makes me really sad to think about. I want to be a farmer, and I want to have a little bit of livestock and some goats, and I don't know how I'm going to dispatch them. Even chickens. I'm sad to think about dispatching, which is, the animal husbandry term for unaliving. Uh, Anyways, okay. Canada. I don't know the full timeline of events for this specific story because uh, I already know it would make me so angry and it would really impact me in a way that I'm just going to avoid the story for the full details. But here's the summary: a lady who at some point was assaulted of the sexual variety was also dealing with health issues to the point where she had opted to receive medical euthanasia, medically assisted euthanasia. That's really popular in Canada. It's freaking insane how many people are being medically euthanized in Canada right now. But apparently, there was a turnaround. Somehow her health started to improve, and she had requested to not be killed. She, right? Seems like a normal request if you think you're going to die, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I might not die so soon. Maybe I should hold off. Apparently, her organs, she had opted to donate them, or I don't know if Canada it's even optional or if it's just mandatory. I don't know. But there were people who were set to receive some of her specific organs. So Canada said, nope, nope, you can't, no take-seat backsies on your life. We're going to just, you know, kill you. We're going to murder you. And that is what they did. I did not see the video, or I don't know if this video exists. I thought I had seen a comment from someone discussing this, that there is a video showing the police like pulling this woman, pretty much taking her forcefully against her will to be euthanized. Uh, if such a video exists, I cannot watch it. I just already know it would break me. I would break down into tears, and anger would overwhelm me. Even though I'm already angry, it would be another level. And it's kind of a bit of avoiding, but at the same time, it's self-care because I already am angry. I know that. I'm already looking for healthy outlets for my anger, and I'm trying to raise awareness. And I don't need to expose myself to things that I know will trigger me more. If I already am working on my triggers, I don't need awakening. I don't need the visuals. So hopefully the video doesn't exist, and hopefully I don't see it. And maybe this was somebody else just creating their own sort of visualization, because that's what happened. That is literally what happened. She was taken from her home against her will and murdered. That's something you should be able to take back. You should be able to say, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't want help from the state to be killed. I'm trying not to say that word because of the YouTube algorithm and censorship, all of that stuff. But let's get to the title of the video, right? Violence would be justified. In that scenario, I feel like it would have been justified to defend yourself from the police people who were forcibly removing you from your home to unalive you, to murder you. That would be a perfect example of justified violence, of justified self-defense. But unfortunately, because we are so programmed to be obedient to the authority structure that has existed since before we were born, that we don't question it, that we don't even think about the moral implications of self-defense against the tyrannical government. That's how brainwashed we are. That is how successfully they have programmed Stockholm Syndrome into the masses, into the collective consciousness. We all, not all, most of us subconsciously side with our oppressors. And you gotta hand it to them. On one end, it's sophisticated as fuck, how they've been able to psychologically hijack and program us. But on the other hand, it's evil as fuck, absolute evil. And so I want to mainstream this conversation around self-defense against the state and how it is ethical, it is moral, it is your duty to defend yourself and your community from tyrants. It is so very sad and unfortunate that you may have to do so. It hurts my heart thinking about it. One of my favorite, absolute favorite books of all time, I would call it my personal Bible, is the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, I've heard it said many different ways, Lao Tzu. I would highly recommend you check it out. And one of the little passages is all good men or women. It's a, you know, it applies to both men and women. All good masters, as they're known, masters of ourselves, detest the use of weapons. And I agree. It is extraordinarily sad that we have so many weapons of such a variety. And by no means am I saying we need no guns, because I think we very much need the guns. I'm just lamenting the fact that we need guns. We need so many weapons to defend ourselves from tyrants. It's a really, really paradoxical sort of situation we find ourselves in. But that's one thing that Eastern philosophy has really helped me personally in my growth and development. Is there's this expression, and I'm going to butcher it explaining it, but I'll try really quick. It's called holding the paradox. And so for me, holding the paradox in this context is the idea that weapons, I should detest the use of them. But unfortunately, I may have to actually use them. So it's a bit of a conundrum or a paradox. My goal is to not have to, but I'm not going to rule it out because, and I'll end the video with this, another Eastern expression. It is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And that is that is the mindset you need to cultivate when you think about resisting tyranny. but also not letting the abyss consume your soul. So you must not become a tyrant in your pursuit of defending yourself from tyrants. Be prepared, but don't become a tyrant yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, you need to stop letting the ruling classes divide us in the working class. Together, if we can find some unity, we can actually make change in the world. Much love.